So we have done with the loop prevention mechanism, right? So in IBGP, what happened, guys? So as I told you that, so whenever the IBGP router receive the update from IBGP neighbor, so this is the person that are sitting on R2. So he said that whenever the router number 2 will receive the update from the IBGP neighbor, it will never share the same update to the another IBGP neighbor, right? So it will never share the same update to the another IBGP neighbor, but it will share the same update to the EBGP neighbor. This is the how the split Trojan rule works. But the problem is that what we cannot provide the communication between this user to this user now. Of course, right? Because if this update is not coming to the R4 order, how we can provide the communication? No communication will happen. So in that case, what happened? We need to disable the split horizon rule. If you know provide the communication between this user and this user, right? We have a subnet on this guy and we have a subnet on this guy for 0 0 0. We need to extend this update from here to here. We need to disable the split horizon. But the problem is that there is no command. There is no command to disable the split horizon rule. If you just have a look over there, if I'm going to talk about the RIP and EIGRP perspective, in a RIP and EIGRP, what happened? If you see interface 0/0, I see the IP split horizon rule, right? And if you put the question mark, he's asking. If you just put the enter over there, if you just put the enter over there, what happened? It will disable the split horizon rule for the RIP protocol, right? But if you put the enter over there, no IP split horizon rule, EIGRP number 1, it will disable the split for the EIGRP. We have a command, right? In a EIGRP and RIP, we have a separate commands over there. But in a BGP, there's no command. Can you see over there? Is there an option is coming? We only have a carry return that is going to represent a RIP and EIGRP. If you put the EIGRP, you're just going to ask the AS number and now enter. No BGP. The question is that how we can disable the split Trojan rule in the BGP. So guys, if you not disable the split Trojan rule in the BGP, we have a three flavors. Either you can make a either you can make a topology as a full mesh, right? Either we can make a route reflector or either we can make a configuration. There's three ways we can disable the split Trojan rule. So in the three ways, we can simply say that in the three ways we can achieve this communication. This user can communicate with this user. In a three ways we can achieve this user one can communicate with the user number three. In a three ways, either you can implement the full mesh topology, either we can make a route reflector, or either we can make a configuration. Full mesh in the sense of what? For example, if you see, this is the full mesh, right? This is the full mesh topology over there. So in this full mesh, what can you see what happened? Router one has a connectivity with the router number two at the same time. Router one has connectivity with the router number. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So router one has a connectivity with the router number 2. They have a router 3. They have router number 4. They have router number 5, and they have router number 6. Same way, if you go for the router number 2, they have a connectivity with router number 6. Then this guy, then this guy, then this guy, and then this guy. So every router has a connectivity with every person in the full mesh, right? But in this case, what I'm going to do, same thing I'm going to achieve over there. Right now, we have a neighborship between this person to this person, right? We have a neighborship between this person to this person. What we are going to do, I'm just going to make a indirect neighbor relationship between this guy to this guy. That achieve the full mesh, right? Every router has a neighbor relationship with every person. So now we can achieve we can just make the neighborship between this person to the 12.1 to this guy, 24.4. In that case, what happened? We are just going to disable the split horizon rule. Just make a full mesh topology. So R1 will going to maintain how many relationship? So R1 is already maintain the one neighbor relationship with this guy. R2 is going to maintain the one neighbor relationship with this guy. And R2 is also maintaining the one neighbor relationship with this guy. So basically on R2, we have a two neighborship. What I'm going to do on R1. On R1 also, we have a single neighborship with this guy right now. R4 also have a single neighborship with this guy. I'm going to make another neighbor relationship between this guy to this guy. So R1 will also have a two neighborship, and R4 will also have a two neighborship, and R2 will also have a two neighborship, the full miss. So I just go now simply on the router number 1. And what I can say that right now, if you just have a look right now on R2, I have this information in my routing table, sorry, BGP table, right? And in iBGP, we are not going to exchange the AS path information. If you see on R3, that's my eBGP connection. We have this route information, and we have a AS path information as well as, right? But if you go back to the router number 4, on this router number 4, right? On this router number 4, we don't have information just because of the split version rule. So what I can do, I'm just going to make a neighbor relationship with this person now. Router BGP number 123. Neighborship, I'm going to make a 12.1, and that has a remote address will be what? 8123. Same thing, I need to go on a router number 1. Router BGP 123. I'm going to make a neighbor relationship with a 24.4. Remote address will be 123. So I'm just going to make a relationship between this guy to this guy in that neighborship. One minute. So I'm just going to make a neighbor relationship between R1 to 12.1 to the 24.4, right? So I just put the enter over there now. After that, what happened? BGP works on the TCP, right? We need a reliability. So for the reliability, what happened? Can I ping this guy now 24.4 from R1? No, we can't ping. Reachability is not there. So we need to provide the reachability, right, to form the neighborship, because right now my connection will move in the either ideal connect or active state. If you see, we don't have neighbor relationship. So I need to define the one static route towards this guy. You can use the EAGRP as well as, it's totally up to you. And next up to R2. Okay, what happened? And on R4, 23.24. So now they will form the neighborship, right? Once they will form the neighborship, now my router 4 is able to receive the update. So now how the router 4 is receiving the update? The router 4 is receiving the update from directly from the 12.1. So R1 is directly send this update to the R4. So now if you see, we have this information. Show IP, do show IP BGP. So R4 is also having the 1.0 information. Now R3 is also having the 1.0 information, that's the eBGP, and R2 also having the 1.0 information, and R1 is also having the same way. If you're going to advertise on R4 this route 4.0.0, for example, we have the 4.0. No, let's create the loop. 123 as a network 4.0.0.0. What happened? R4 will send this update to the R2, and R4 will send this update to the R1 as well as. R4 will send this update to the R2, and R4 will send this update to the R1, and R2 will send this update to the R3 as well as. So if you go back to the router number 2, first of all, I'm sending the update to the home 12.1. So if you go back to the router number 2, I'm receiving the update from the 24.4. At the same time, R1 will also receive the update. R1 will also receive the update, this 4.0. R2 will also update, and R3 will also receive this update. But when R3 is receiving, they will have a AS path information. One more thing is that if you just have a look, show IP BGP, guys, what happened? Do we have any I over there, right? No I is there. But if you see on R1, the IBGP table, we have a I. This I, this I is going to represent that this route is belongs to the IBGP. This I just going to represent this route is belong to the IBGP. Whereas on a R3, we don't have this I. So it say that, hey, this route is coming from the EBGP. This I has a different meaning, guys. I'll let you know this I meaning in the next class, right? This I has a different meaning. This I has a different meaning. This I, if the I is present behind the prefix, right? If the I is present behind the prefix, it means that this route is belong to the IBGP. And if the I is not there, it means that this is the EBGP. So this is how we can implement the full mesh topology. So you can do one thing, guys. Let's write down one task I gave you and do this practical of this task. The task is very simple. For example, if you have a router number 1 and you have router number 2 and you have router number 3 and you have router number 4 and we have router number 5, right? And every router has a one loop back. So we have a loop back 1.0.0.0.0.0. We have a 2.0.0.0 loop back over there. We have 4.0.0.0.0/8 and we have a 3.0.0.0/8 loop back. And router number 5 also have a one loop back 5.0.0.0/8. I need to make a neighbor relationship with this person. Loop back to loop back. So R1 should be maintain the four relationship. One with the 2.2.2.2.2.2, one with the 3.3.3.3.3.3, one is the 5.5.5.5.5, one is the 4.4.4.4. Same way, R2 is going to maintain the one relationship, 3.3.3. Same way R4, same way R3. This output I want on every router. The same topology you have to give. You can use the any net. For example, you can use the 15.0 between this subnet. You can use the 25.0 this subnet. You can use the 35.0 this subnet, and you can use the 45.0 this subnet. You just need to get this output on every router. So IPBGP summary, and I will have this output. And better to do one thing, for the more verification, you can create a one loop back on a R1. That's a 11.0.0.0/8. So this route will be replicated to the router number 2, router number 5, router number 4, and router number 3 as well. So for the more verification, you can create a one loop back on the router number 1, and this loop back information has to be shared to the every router. So we should use the BGP for the loopback connection. Exactly right. You should use the BGP for loopback connection. We are not going to form the direct membership. We are going to form the loopback membership. All good. So hope guys this thing is clear to all of you, the full mesh concept and how we can prevent the loop in the IBGP and EBGP. So see you tomorrow, and tomorrow we are going to discuss about the route reflector concept and the configuration as well. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'm done for the today. No. So okay guys, then see you tomorrow and do this practice as well as okay. And let me know if you have any questions. I will help you out. Okay. Bye bye. Good night.
Good night.